I don't think that the climbing of the cenotaph and attempt to burn the Union Jack is going to help anything.
Can I deal with something controversial for you? Yes, you do need to deal with, because we live here and we are here, and a lot of the companies that built the wealth that makes Britain the fifth or sixth largest economy in the world was built off the backs of slaves, and how that happens, because that happens, every single statue should be brought down, including Winston Churchill's. I'm being real with you, dude.
Ashley.
If you don't get that, you don't get us. Because when I know Winston Churchill was a white supremacist, he didn't defeat Hitler to help me. He defeated them to help you. Dude, that's what happened.
I just don't. Actually, I just don't. Are you saying? But actually, hang on a sec. Are you saying that Hitler posed no threat to people of colour?
Yes, I'm saying Hitler posed a threat to people of colour. I'm saying that Winston Churchill didn't do it for me, though. He did it because they were a threat to Britain. So we were a conscious and understanding benefactor of what Winston Churchill did. But when he wins and his rule comes in, I still don't benefit. So don't try and pretend Winston Churchill done me a favour.
You benefit from a country that is not run by a fascist dictator. You benefit from a country that managed to defeat Nazism. That's what you benefit from.
Stop. Can you hear yourself? And this is not you being racist. I just want you to listen to what you just said. You benefit, me, a black man, from Winston Churchill, a white supremacist, beating Hitler. Dude, between me and you, just so you understand, that is so insulting. I should not have to ask you for this. I should not have to ask Winston
You're not
Churchill
asking me for anything. What are you asking me for?
What you say is, if you throw a statue of a slave trader in, the people that did it should be thingy. But guess what isn't being argued about? Do you know there was a petition for Jimmy Savile's statue to get taken down? Yeah? He got taken down instantly because he's a white dude. It embarrassed you, and it happened. But here's what happens to us when we ask for a statue taken down. It takes 3 years. Then when it happens, citizens, not you, Tom, but citizens, phone up and argue, well, criminal damage is the problem. Come on, mate. Come on, bro.
Actually,
criminal damage is the argument.
Ashley, listen. I don't think 99% of people will not say that the criminal damage done to that statue is worse than the crimes committed by the man whose statue was
Why do you say 99%?
I know that's not the point that you're making, but I understand that the two don't compete. The point I was going to make was trying to separate the issue that you talk about from equality, which I totally... I understand as far as I can possibly understand it because I'm not a black man. So, a priori, I try and understand. I cannot understand it from experience because I'm not black myself. So those issues, absolutely. But they are, I have to say, I do think that they have to be to an extent removed from Britain's past, because otherwise we might end up in a set of circumstances where people argue that because of our history, things cannot get any better. And that would be a terrible way forward.
Tom, could I say something here? No, they can get better, but do you know what's the problem? Is the refusal to accept that it was done, that it was bad. And maybe you've got to spend a lot of money, government money, but that government has that money based off the back of the slave trade and things that happened. They've got to spend a lot of money rewriting stuff so I don't have to walk into somewhere and look at something where they sold my people to get whatever they got. This philanthropy argument.
If there was a statue of somebody who committed crimes and atrocities on the scale of this man did in Bristol to people of my ilk, then I too would be absolutely apoplectic with rage. But there's not.
But there's not a statue of that. But there's not a statue of that. No. And that's what you've got to get. And there's multiple scenarios in this country, on this land, right now, where I've got to accept that it's history. I've got to accept that that's part of your history. It's not part of... I don't want to see that.
But it
we
is
know it in books. Why have I got to look at it?
Okay, I take your point that history is not reflected solely in the erecting of statues. I understand that. It's in books, it's in museums, it's wherever else you can find it. It's in the existence of various institutions, arguably. But so by following, with respect, following that logic means that those institutions themselves have to be brought down, have to be defunded, have to be got rid of because it's a reminder of the history.
Why is it so totalist? Why do you have to bring down the organisation? Why can't we just say, well, that's wrong, let's change it, but we're changing it for this reason. Well, that's wrong, let's change it, we're changing it for this reason. Do you know what? And this is a problem, and this is where I get really angry, right? A problem with white logic, and I'm going to call it white logic, is that if one thing happens, everything must happen. But but let me finish. The argument must be, if it happened the other way round, it would happen. You guys take down your Jimmy Savile statues or whatever it might be. Anything bad looking gets taken down.
Mine because it's not mine because it's white. I'm sorry, I just,
this country isn't a white